What's going on, guys? My name is Joey Franzo with Flex Training Systems, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a topic that was actually inspired by one of my clients, Tim Thibodeau. I hope I'm saying your last name right. How you doing, Tim? How you doing, Timmy? Number one fan, listens to all my stuff. He's a good dude. You guys should go subscribe to him. And basically, he made a video talking about how he has a life outside of powerlifting, which is like a normal job, and I thought it would be useful to some of you guys out there to highlight some things and just remind you guys of some things that are going on. I've also just my daily interaction with my clients. Some of them, I don't know what's going on lately, but it just seems like there's a lot of things going on outside of the gym that are requiring attention, additional program adjustments and things like that, and a lot of comparing to other people, which I don't think is the best thing to do, for sure, because everybody's situation is different. Some people, I call this the unicorn situation. They don't have anything to do outside of the gym other than they sit and they pretty much I work from home. I can train when I want. I don't really have too much to worry about other than just coaching my athletes, and dealing with inquiries and emails and stuff like that. So I work on my own time for the most part. I know that certain times of the day I need to be on my computer, and certain times of the day, I do other things like train, run errands, whatever. So my stress on that front is much lower than someone who perhaps you go to school, so you're dealing with teachers, deadlines, extracurricular activities, and then maybe you have a job on the side. Maybe you have a job that's overnight. When I used to train people in person, I had this one girl who, she was a nurse overnight, and it was just brutal because for half of the week your sleep schedule is destroyed, and right when you are starting to get normalized, back on your normal schedule, then you mess it up again. So that can cause additional stress. But we can't compare ourselves to other people when on that front, the amount of time that you have in the day to put towards training, recovery, meal prep, whatever it is, that going to get a massage, working on your body, working out kinks, rolling, stretching, all that stuff. Sometimes you really have to micromanage your time, and you can't maybe get to everything that you want to get to. And I think it can be detrimental when we're not real with ourselves, and we don't try to. I mean, it's good to have high expectations. It's good to say, hey, I want to achieve X, I want to achieve Y, but to beat yourself up because you're not seeing the results that you want, given you are not in a position to achieve those results, it's just, there's nothing you can do about it. So there's no point and beating yourself up unless you're willing to make some adjustments outside of the gym to get more out of the gym. It just depends on what you want. Now, there are some people that they have a very demanding job, and they go to school, and they just have all these other things going on, but they just somehow fucking get it done. Those people usually are good responders to training, and that they're always going to respond to training in some way, but sometimes they're going to have big progress, big response, sometimes small progress, small response, but they're always kind of moving forward. And think of their training as it's almost like it's an economy that's draining, but they never let it completely drain. They're always filling that economy back up. If that makes any sense. Think of it like I'm trying to think of something that needs to be taken care of all the time. Think of like a nest with baby birds in it, and they're always taking care of that nest. They're making sure those birds are fed. They're making sure that those birds are progressing, they're growing, they're moving in the right direction, and they're not They're not going to let those birds starve or get eaten by a fucking wild animal or something like that. So that's kind of how it is with training. Their training is a very high priority, and they're willing to move everything else in their life around that training. Depending on, it all depends on what you want to get out of your training. Maybe for nationals, you start to get a little bit more dedicated, a little bit more crazy when it comes to stuff like that. You start moving things around. You start adjusting your work and not taking as many classes and doing all these things in hopes that you can get a good result on the platform for that particular meet. And then, after that meet, you have something else coming up, which is not usually the case because usually Christmas time after that, holidays. But let's say you have school coming up and, you know that this time of the year you can't really push as hard as you could the other times of the year, then that's a compromise that you're willing to make. So, you're still competing, you're still pushing. It's just at certain times of the year things take a back burner. You have to go to the back burner, which is, it's a common thing, and it happens. It's just some people are willing to let that happen with their training. Some people absolutely, will not let that happen, and they always kind of want to be there, and just always really pushing to get better. I do think this gets into like yearly planning, which I have covered before, so I don't want to really go into it here. But what I often do is, let's say you have school, let's say you have work, and let's say your school, at this particular time of the year, you're going through a shitload of tests. You have a bunch of exams, and you're going to need to allocate extra resources because in a day we only have so many resources or so much attention we can dedicate to each discipline or each part of our life. That at this particular part of the year you're going to be spending more of that time is going to be taken up by school. So you communicate that with your coach, and what I'll do is I'll have people train kind of minimally, kind of like a bare bones, do the absolute minimum that you need to progress, hopefully, given the circumstances, but you may not always be able to given those circumstances. So you just need to understand that maybe at this time of the year, try to maintain what you have, and then once that slows down, boom, then you can pick it up. Maybe you get 4 or 5 months of good training, good momentum, establish a new base, and then, in the span of a year, you're moving forward quite significantly. But maybe in the span of those, couple months when you can't dedicate so much to get what you want out of training, then you need to just be real with yourself and understand that, it sucks, but you might not have the flexibility in your schedule to do what you need to do. For example, when I'm getting ready for a meet, I like to train 6 days a week. I like to spread out my training. I like to do it that way because it allows me to kind of give a little bit more to each lift, to each session. Whereas the rest of the year, I might have other things going on. I might try to take on a little bit more workload. So I will intentionally minimize the amount that I'm in the gym, which it's almost similar. It's just I'm not making as many trips to the gym. But like I said, my situation's probably different than most of yours out here. So one of the most frustrating things that I've seen lifters deal with is their life is crazy, and they have a goal that they want to achieve at a meet that's coming up. Unless they make some sort of life adjustment, the goal that they want to achieve is probably not going to happen. That's just because, they have too much going on outside of the gym that's really affecting their training. And they'll beat themselves up over that fact, over things that they don't have control over at this time, at this particular time. hell, there's even times when, you know, maybe a lifter doesn't have the funds to, you know, do what they want to do. Maybe they can't afford a coach. Maybe they can't afford to travel to the meet, and they're pissed off that they have to go to school when they could be working, you know, saving up money for other things that they want to do. But that should happen. That's life. Like, that happens everywhere. You know, there's nothing. There's no point beating yourself up over stuff like that. But I think a lot of the time, we as lifters can forget that. We forget that there's other things going on outside of our life, unless you are fortunate enough to just, you know, just lift and not really have to worry about it. Then you gotta be okay with that. And you know, when it comes to that very, very top end, if you have two guys that are both genetically gifted and they're both contenders, one of them has nothing to do but train, the other one has wife, kids, you know, maybe they're in the military, maybe they have a crazy job and they travel. You know, that's just a compromise that you're going to have to make, and that guy who can just focus on training is probably going to win out, even if he just edges the other guy out. So you just have to. This all, you know, has to do with staying objective and just looking at the big picture, taking a step back and looking in on your life. And you know, if you really dedicate yourself and micromanage things, you know, the right way, you can definitely 100% progress with a lot of other stuff going on outside of the gym. You just can't get sucked into, you know, feeling this pressure that you need to, you know, be the best in the world, when that's only one guy gets to be the best in the world, and even when he is the best in the world, he's not going to be that like that forever. So I hope that was able to just kind of give you some perspective. Maybe you're beating yourself up over your situation when there's no need for that. You can certainly move your training in the right direction without having, you know, that ideal situation. So if you were able to gain anything from this video, go ahead and drop a like. Let me know what you guys think below. I know you guys want to see me on the actual, it's weird, some of you guys want to see me, some of you guys, you know, are fine with the stills and you just like listening, but I want to try to do something in the middle where maybe it's just training footage, just older, you know, training footage, or maybe something new if I do something notable, which, as I'm dieting right now, it's not really happening that often. But at least something for those that do actually want to maybe watch this while you're eating, or you know, you actually want to see something on screen. I can try to do that. It's just difficult because, for example, right now I had a 25-minute window. I can pump this video out, go do what I need to do. So alrighty guys, thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next one.